Hey travelers, Mag and I here on day 97 of our trip around the United States. This morning we're getting things started off from the Lonely City Park here in Leola. We came in last night and saw that this place was only $10 a night for a camping spot, and we were in. It's got this beautiful view out over on the water, it's got the fields out on the other side, and I could not ask for a more picturesque spot. We woke up to an extremely cold and windy morning here in South Dakota. We're under the shelter of this tree here because it's about the only place we could get a slight break from the wind in order to start our intro for the day. Fortunately, today is a much shorter day than the last few days we had. We're only going 200 miles today, and when we reach Watertown, that is it for the day. In Watertown, we're going to go get the South Dakota County Challenge, as well as the Cache Across America cache. We've already finished the Cache Across America series, but when I see a new one wherever I'm going to be, I can't pass up the opportunity to go compare it to the old one. I just love the geocaches in that series. Today we're actually going to see a lot more civilization than we've seen in the last few days too, which is going to be such a welcome change. As much as I've enjoyed these scenic country drives, and I really have, I'm ready to find a place where we can get a hot meal and a cold drink. Can't say for sure what today is going to have in store, but I can tell you without a doubt it's going to be a great day of geocaching. So let's go find out together. Come on! It was great to get the morning started off with these gorgeous views out over the water, despite the cold wind blowing down on us. Ai-chan didn't seem to mind though. She was just happy for the spot to relax and hang out. Much like yesterday, we had a lot of empty miles between us and the targets we needed for each of the counties and pages. Unlike yesterday, however, instead of making our way through rolling green hills and buttes, we were moving between bodies of water all day long. It seemed like every other road we turned down was cutting between two ponds or lake, often with the water rising up right to the road's edge. We completed several earth caches that focused on how the land came to be this way. Evidence of glacial activity in South Dakota can be seen throughout the eastern half of the state. The ice within the glacier forms through compaction and recrystallization of the snow. When the mass of the ice reaches a certain thickness, it starts to spread out or move away from the area of accumulation. At this point, the ice mass is known as a glacier. The ice within that glacier is always on the move. Individual ice particles enter the glacier in the accumulation zone and are transported over time to areas where the ice is lost through the melting process. The glacier advances, moving forward, when there is more accumulation of ice than in what is melting, and it will retreat, moving backwards, when there is more melting than accumulation of ice. Nearly all the hills and ridges that you see here in eastern southern Dakota are the results of deposits of glacial sediments. The rising mounds all around are the results of debris and deposits that are laid down at the edge of the glacier, whereas the deposits are formed from large blocks of ice that are trapped between the glacial deposits and melt off over time. The lakes in this area were formed when those depressions filled with water. Looking at this amazing landscape through the lens of an earth cache, you begin to understand how it became so beautiful with the rising hills and low points filled with water all over the map. And after days spent in sparsely populated areas, we made it to Watertown, the county seat of Cottington County with a whopping population of 23,000. After the towns we'd been seeing, this felt like New York City. We took our time making it in town, grabbing several geocaches along the way, completing earth caches along lake shores, and checking out any neat monuments we happened to come across. Definitely not a day for swimming with wind like this though. Instead, as you might have already guessed, we made our way over to the Veterans Memorial. Completed in 2006, this Veterans Memorial features war eras from the Persian Gulf, Vietnam, Korea, World War II, and World War I, but is dedicated to all veterans. 15 flags fly high over the memorial, representing the Army, Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, Army National Guard, and Merchant Marines, plus all military organizations, the VFW, American Legion, DAV, Marine Corps League, and the PVA. I found the story of the chain, written by author Michael Foss, to be particularly moving. A granite base, rough cut, undone, reminds us that no conflict is won. And incomplete is this memorial of war, until all souls missing are accounted for. A chain of iron forever binds their uncertain fate to our seeking minds. To we the living, In our hearts must remain the tool to finish and the linking chain. This flag someday to the center set, these chains removed. This granite etched, may this be the goal of all who set their feet upon this memorial, now incomplete. No matter where we go in the United States, from the biggest cities to the smallest towns, we continue to be moved by the outshowing of support for our troops seen in each and every one of these veterans' memorials. We have just one stop left to bring our time in Watertown to a close at the Redland Arts Center. Outside of the center itself, they feature a 30-acre wildlife refuge with walking trails, gazebos, and a state-of-the-art amphitheater. The dog and I enjoyed a great walk out on the trails in pursuit of the cache across America's South Dakota. Although this was my second time being here, it was her first, so it was all new smells all along the way, right up to this ammo can, the only one that we found today. So glad to be able to find at least one regular-sized container in a day filled with micros. Now just time to celebrate our last find of the day. And there it is, the Cache Across America, South Dakota. I love this series. If you haven't heard about the Cache Across America, there's 50 geocaches, one spread through each of the 50 states in this series. They're put out in sites that are either historically significant for the state or beautiful views that well represent the state. I've actually already completed the Cache Across America series several years ago, but whenever we're close to any of the new Cache Across America publications, like this one here, we're absolutely going to stop and get them because we always enjoy the chance to go to the locations that they bring us. Well, travelers, that brings an end to our day, and if it feels like today was a really short day, it's because it was. Aichan and I got started off at a decent hour this morning, but we took a slow, casual pace through our day, and we enjoyed the drive through the eastern side of South Dakota where we got to see a ton of water features on what is clearly the wetter side of the state. A lot of the counties and pages that we passed through today to get to Watertown didn't have a lot of good options for us. So most of them were one and dones. They were park and grabs right off the side of the road. There really wasn't anything scenic at all. We're here at our final target. We just got the Cache Across America, South Dakota, and that's it. We have finished our target list for the day. And rather than continue geocaching, which we could because there's way more geocaches in Watertown than we could ever hope to finish today. But rather than doing that, we're actually going to take a step back, go get ourselves cleaned up, get something to eat for dinner, catch up on some of those things we've been putting off in favor of geocaching, and be ready to hit the road first thing at dawn tomorrow. We hope you guys enjoyed this short, scenic tour into Watertown. This place really is beautiful. Like this video, subscribe to stay tuned for daily updates, and we'll see you out on the trails.